Welcome back to CBS This Morning. This week's inauguration will feature long-standing traditions marking the occasion despite unprecedented challenges. President-elect Biden plans to take the oath of office on the West Front steps of the Capitol, as other presidents have done for the last 40 years. Chief White House correspondent, that's Nancy Cordes, got a behind-the-scenes look. Nancy, good morning to you. So what should we expect? It looks so different than we've ever seen it before.
It really does, Gayle. For starters, this is about as close as most people are going to be able to get to the Capitol on Inauguration Day. But even before this unprecedented security stemming from the uprising we saw a week and a half ago, the organizers were already contending with a global pandemic as they tried to maintain many of the inaugural traditions that Americans are so familiar with. So what is it going to look like? We asked the man tasked with bringing it all together.
So are they done doing the plotting, or do they still have?
Majed Varghazi is the executive director of the Presidential Inaugural Committee. It's his job to plan the most complicated inaugural ceremony ever.
Are you getting any sleep at this point?
I'm getting a couple hours a night. A good friend of mine checked in on me the other day, and he said the signs were showing.
Varghazi is no stranger to big events. He was the COO of the Biden campaign, which had to reimagine the Democratic National Convention and the election night celebration to keep them COVID safe.
What were the elements of an inauguration that were most important to you to preserve?
So what we wanted to do was preserve the images that people are used to when it comes to seeing a peaceful transfer of power. We wanted President-elect Biden to take the oath on the West Front, and we wanted to give people a sense that, you know, we are still, even in tough times, we're a resilient country.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
After all, presidents have been getting sworn in on the West Front of the Capitol for the past 40 years, with one key difference.
Yeah, generally, that platform would be packed, like people shoulder to shoulder, maybe up to 1,000 people up there.
On Wednesday, to maintain social distancing, it'll be closer to 200. And the National Mall will be completely blocked off to the public, though that doesn't mean it'll be empty.
Well, what you'll see on the mall, you know, is going to be a sea of flags. 2009, I was here for President Obama's first inauguration. I was looking this way, down toward the monument on a bright day, and seeing people wave their flags in the light. We wanted to capture some of that spirit.
And so this weekend, workers began installing nearly 200,000 American flags and state and territory flags.
All of it to show the American people that we're thinking about them in this time.
We spoke amid what felt like an armed encampment. It was just 12 days ago that thousands of rioters swarmed the very spot where President-elect Biden will be sworn in.
We just had to add more security.
Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar sits on the congressional committee that oversees inaugural events.
Did you ever consider bringing the entire inauguration inside and abandoning the West Front?
We thought, should we do it on another side? Should we do it inside? And time again, we came back to the point that, no, this is where the inauguration traditionally has been held, not when you go way back, but traditionally. And we want to continue that tradition.
There are some additional changes that they are making to meet the moment on Wednesday. As you know, 2 Capitol police officers lost their lives as a result of the riots, and dozens more were injured. Well, CBS News has learned that during the ceremony, there will be a recognition of the Capitol Police Force, even as those officers are on duty protecting the lawmakers and all the other dignitaries who will be there for the big event.
Yeah, January 6th was messy,
Yeah.
and yet they were successful in that no one was hurt. Nancy, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
And there are many officers that do deserve to be celebrated. We've heard the other stories of the selfies and letting the barricades go, but there are many officers, most officers, we should say, did the right thing. But when I look at those pictures, guys, it makes me sad, but it also makes me very angry that it's come to this.
Yeah, and the threat will not pass after Inauguration Day.
Right.
It will be out there. And I should say, when I say no one was hurt, I mean no member of Congress was hurt. And that is the mission of the Capitol Police.
Some of this would have been like this in part because of COVID. But it's obviously been taken to a different level. I am glad they are continuing the imagery of having it out on the west side of the Capitol, because that will at least be familiar.
All right. And that was our chief White House correspondent, Nancy Cordes.
Yes.
New title there for her.
Yes, yes.